Welcome to this explainer. If you're a focused learner trying to master the sheer complexity of global sourcing, well, you've landed in exactly the right spot. Today, we're tearing down the ultimate 2026 playbook built specifically for professional procurement managers who are sourcing construction materials out of China. Look, we're going way past the basic supplier directories here. We're going to break down the exact workflows, the granular supplier vetting tactics, and the hardcore risk management strategies you absolutely need to succeed in today's market.
Right. Let's jump straight in. The stakes in global construction procurement, they have literally never been higher. Sourcing from China in 2026 is no longer just this race to the bottom for the lowest price. It's about supply chain resilience, and frankly, it's about ESG compliance. Because think about it, if you buy substandard materials, the fallout isn't just a delayed project schedule. We're talking severe structural issues and massive legal liability. So we have to be meticulous.
To make sure we cover all the bases, here is our roadmap. We are going to look at the 2026 sourcing landscape, then factory audits and compliance, followed by strict quality testing steps, and logistics risk management. And finally, we'll wrap up with the 2026 procurement trends.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1, the 2026 sourcing landscape. So, the days of just buying generic high-volume stuff from anywhere in China, totally over. Today's Tier 1 suppliers have morphed into this highly sophisticated ecosystem. We're talking advanced green materials, smart precast components, and fully digitized production lines. And here's the real trick. Professional buyers don't just blindly hunt for isolated companies anymore. No, they target specific regional clusters. For instance, if you need ceramics, you look straight to Foshan in Guangdong. Need steel? You go to Tangshan and Hebei. Architectural glass, Shahe or Liling. Plumbing is in Taizhou, and stone is over in Shutou. Why does this matter? Because getting close to these specialized hubs guarantees you lower raw material costs, a much deeper talent pool, and vastly superior logistics. It's kind of the ultimate sourcing hack.
Which brings us right into our next crucial phase. Section 2, Factory Audits and Compliance. Now, B2B platforms are fantastic tools, right? But they can create a really dangerous illusion. A lot of the so-called suppliers you talk to online are actually just trading companies acting as middlemen. To protect your project, you have to verify the actual factory. So here are the exact steps to weed out those brokers. First, request their certifications. But, and this is a massive red flag, do not just accept a PDF. Anyone can alter a PDF. Step 2, take that certificate number and verify it directly with the issuing body, like SGS, 2V, or Intertek. You need to be sure the test report actually matches the specific product batch you're ordering. And step 3, always demand their official business license, translate it, and make sure the word manufacturing is explicitly listed in their scope of business. If it's not there, you are talking to a broker, period.
All right, moving on to Section 3, Strict Quality Testing Steps.
Once you've verified you're dealing with a legit manufacturer, you enter the real crucible of procurement. You've got to ensure those materials meet rigorous international standards like ASTM, CE, or AS/NZS before they ever get loaded onto a ship. Imagine you're sourcing structural steel. If you don't explicitly specify a standard like ASTM A615 in your request for quotation, you are flying completely blind. When that steel is manufactured, you must request a mill test report for every single heat number produced and double-check that they match. Also, this is absolutely key. Always demand that physical samples be pulled directly from the active production line. Never, ever accept a highly polished sample from a showroom. Finally, send those line samples to a third-party lab in your home country before you ever release that final bulk payment.
Now, let's shift focus to the final mile. Section 4, Logistics Risk Management.
Look, all those rigorous audits and tests mean absolutely zero if your shipping strategy is a mess. Bad logistics can destroy your profit margins, or worse, your goods arrive shattered. Procurement isn't actually finished until the goods arrive completely intact. So you have to match your container strategy to your material. Take two extremes. If you're buying super heavy precast concrete piles from a giant like Xinhua Construction Materials, they are going to max out a container's weight limit incredibly fast. So you use 20-foot general-purpose containers. On the flip side, buying lightweight gypsum board systems from Beijing New Building Materials, you need 40-foot high-cube containers. If you mix this up, you end up shipping air and wasting thousands of dollars on empty space.
It really comes down to this. The material itself dictates the logistics. And even when you're buying from the industry titans, specialized oversight is non-negotiable. Take Oriental Yuhong. They're the gold standard for waterproofing, right? But their chemical products have strict shelf lives and very specific temperature requirements during shipping.
or Dongpeng's Ceramic down in Foshan. Their floor tiles are gorgeous. They compete with high-end Italian brands, but they're fragile. They require incredibly specialized palletizing and strict QC during the actual loading process to prevent them from getting crushed on the open ocean. Okay, I want you to mentally highlight this number, 90. 90 days is the standard critical lead time for custom architectural products coming out of China. You've got to factor in 30 to 45 days just for the production alone, and then another 20 to 40 days for sea freight. If you don't build in at least a 90-day buffer from the moment you put down a deposit to the moment it arrives on site, your entire project timeline is going to be in severe jeopardy.
Finally, let's look ahead. Section 5, 2026 Procurement Trends.
The whole global supply chain landscape is shifting fast, pushed by new environmental rules and flexible building models. First, we're seeing a massive surge in modular construction. State-owned titans like CNBM are pivoting hard toward prefabricated bathroom pods and ready-to-assemble structural modules. Meanwhile, smaller buyers are jumping on the Foshan model. This gives you incredibly flexible minimum order quantities, meaning you can mix and match a bunch of different product types into just one container. But the real game changer? The Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, or CBAM, which is now legally demanding strict carbon footprint data from suppliers.
Which leaves us with this crucial question for you to take back to your own desk. With these CBAM rules making carbon footprint data a legal necessity, is your current supplier actually ready to provide a certified environmental product declaration? Or are you, the buyer, quietly absorbing all of that massive compliance risk? It's time to take a really hard look at your supply chain resilience today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy sourcing!